Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to So Darn Fun, a channel where you'll find quality clothing alterations, pattern reviews, and useful sewing how-tos. And today I'll be doing a pattern review of Itch to Stitch's newly released top as of February 2023, the Coimbra Wrap top. Don't go away. Today is a pattern review day and I am so excited to get to review this one. First of all, I am a non-biased reviewer. I have absolutely no kickback, free patterns, any type of compensation for my review. Fit to Stitch just released a new pattern and it is a knit wrap top. It's called the Coimbra Wrap top and I was very, very excited when this was released because I've been looking for a wrap top that was made out of a knit that was a true wrap top, not one that was fastened at the sides into a waistband or anything, but one that really had the tie belt that went all the way around. This is it. But my hesitation is that the cross in the front, a lot of patterns I have seen in the past that is too revealing or just doesn't fit well, needs a snap or things like that. This one purportedly is very well designed so that it fits, but the only reviews I've seen are from pattern testers of the company, and I wanted to see something where there was no vested interest and I couldn't find any, so I'm going to do that. I haven't made the pattern yet, so you're gonna walk through it with me. So first of all, this pattern comes in a multitude of sizes, like all the Itch to Stitch patterns come in, and I have made a few other of those patterns and they indeed have fit me very well. So the bust size in this one ranges from about 31 to 60. So there's a wide range that it will fit there. Plus the waist, just to give you an idea, is somewhere around like 25 to 54. This pattern comes with a collar option. I'm not really sure how I feel about that because it's a pointed collar, and maybe if it was matched with the right print it would look well, but I can't see it done in a floral with the pointed collar because that's like a mismatch of feminine pattern versus more of a masculine design. So I'm gonna go for the no collar option for at least my first make because I plan on using this beautiful floral French terry and I'm really hoping that it turns out good. The pattern requires a 50% horizontal stretch, and the types of fabrics it recommends are things like a French terry or a double brushed poly, and it would feel amazing in a double brushed poly. My plan right now is to use this. I might change my mind between taping the pattern together and actually sewing it, but I don't think so. So first we're going to get to taping that pattern together, and then I'll check in periodically to show you what my progress is. And one important thing I forgot to mention, my challenge to myself is to see if this pattern can be worn comfortably in doing just, everyday activities without needing to have a snap put in there to keep that from opening. The pattern does say that the snap is optional, but I want one where you don't have to have that snap, where it just naturally stays put where it belongs. And you're going to be the first to see where that takes me. So hang on. I find it very handy that on the first page of the pattern printout, we have this sort of map out of how our pattern will be taped together. Without this, we won't know how many pieces to lay one after the other without positioning pieces below. There's these handy little circles at the top and bottom of each page that we line up on top of the previous page. That makes it very accurate in how to lay this out. Something I forgot to mention is the one thing I like about these patterns is that you can choose to print off which size or sizes you want so that you don't have to mess with all the sizes here. But I was so excited to print off, I forgot. So I've got all the sizes here. So I'm gonna go over the sizes that I want with a highlighter. Probably gonna blend different sizes from my bust to my waist to my hips. But it'll be a lot easier to have it highlighted rather than to try to guess which of those little dots is the one I'm supposed to be following. But anyway, just a heads up, pay attention when you print off to pick the sizes that you want. Note to self. looks like when it's all taped together and laid out. Now, had I read the instructions before I did this, that I probably would have noticed that this section over here, that's the front for a full bust option. Now, had I read the instructions, it probably would have said that those pages are not needed if you're doing a regular bust option. And yes, those blank spots are meant to be that way. Before I start cutting, I thought I'd give you a real quick look at the pattern pieces. I've left all the sizes on to begin with. I've just outlined the size that I'm going to use in orange pen. I've decided to lengthen the top by 1 inch. So on some of these pieces, like on this one right here, you'll see I've lengthened it just at the end. I did not want to lengthen it on the lengthen or shorten line up here because that would have elongated the narrowness of the waist down, and I wanted the waist and the narrowness to be where it is on the pattern. I just wanted the length longer. So that means I also needed to lengthen some of the facing pieces that go along the front edge, and so you'll see that here and here. Something about the tie, that very, very long piece there on the right side, it's going to be 2 ties, and it tells you right here that cut off on this line for the left tie, and then leave it all the way the full length for the right tie. So I need to remember that when I cut it out. So also one more thing here, I am grading between sizes. I am coming off from my bust and increasing the size around the hips. So right after I come around the waist, I am just jumping lines gradually over to the next size up. So let's get these pieces cut out. In case you were interested in seeing all the pieces cut out, way at the end there I've got the front pieces with the facings laying by them. Then I've got the back piece right here and it's facing up at the top, the sleeve there, and over here on the left the 2 ties. Yay! I can't wait to get this put together. Hi again, I'm reporting in to show you my progress so far. And this is what we've got. We've got the front and the back. Let me scoot back here a little bit. Front and back sewn together. Sleeves are sewn into the shoulder, but not the side seams. Not yet, because the side seams need to leave a slit, or one of the side seams will leave a slit for the tie to go through, which brings me to the next point. The directions didn't talk about finishing the edges of the front and back on the side that the slit is going to be in. So I went ahead and finished with my serger. Now it's not necessary because most knits today don't run anyhow, but it's just kind of one of my things. I wanted to have it finished. And then I realized I needed to finish both edges of the sleeve also. I did it to both sides because I wasn't sure yet which side is actually going to have the slit in it, so I just covered all my bases. Pardon me while I interrupt myself, but I'm going to backtrack a little bit about the side seam. It does say finish the seam as desired after you've stitched it and left the little gap for the tie. I find that to be a little awkward. I think finishing the edges before you sew it is the way to go rather than trying to finish them after, but it is addressed. Okay, now back to my ramblings. Hardest part so far, of course, as always, are putting all the pieces of facing together correctly. But if you pay attention to the directions and the pattern that has little hash marks at each end of the facing pieces and you match them together like a puzzle, you'll get it right. But there are several pieces. This is one piece, from here down is one piece of facing, from here up to the shoulder edge is another piece, behind the neck is another piece, and then again on the other side. So you see that you've got to get all these pieces together so that the shaping goes correctly. Otherwise you're in trouble. All we have to do now is the side seams and hemming, and then this facing is going to be top stitched down. So I'm going to admit something really silly. I am quite excited about the hemming because we're going to do a mitered hem at this bottom edge, which is completely unnecessary, completely cool, and just a really classy touch. So I'm going to show you how that's done because I think it's very unique and unusual to do this on a top where normally you would just turn it under and stitch it. Well, this is just a little bit different and kind of fun. So I'll show you how to do that when I get to that portion. So far, so good. I can't wait to report on how this is going to fit. I'm still kind of wondering how that neck edge is going to come together. I'm skeptical. But at least it's a really pretty top. And I did end up using this fabric, which I think was a great choice for this style because I think it looks really good. I hope it fits me. Crossing my fingers, but we'll see. Okay, here's the part I'm excited about. This is the bottom edge. The directions have you press up the bottom edge 1 inch all the way around, which I did. This is the facing on the front, center front edge that's folded out. So first we press this up 1 inch. Now we're going to fold the facing in where it's going to be when it's all done. And we're going to take a look at this point right here. So on the inside, there we go. So here I have a white dot, and down here, it's probably a little hard to see, I have an orange dot. Now we're going to draw a line between those two. So up here I'll use my white chalk. Oh, that's showing up on there. Maybe a little bit. And then on this white part I'll try to use my orange pen. Yeah, I can see it. Hopefully you can see it too. Then, with right sides of this fabric together, we're going to match those lines. Make sure that this is folded tightly. Yeah, from this point out. So let's pin, matching up those two lines as best as possible from this point out. Easier said than done. Obviously, I have not rehearsed this. That line is the line we're going to stitch on. Orange on this side, white on this side, and it's kind of dog-eared like that, so don't worry about that. Let's take this to the machine and see if this actually works. That's really cool. I think I'm off a little bit here. My pressed line is here, and it ended up being over here. But I think I can just press that and it'll just even out and it's not going to make a difference. But I'll just keep that in mind when I do the other side. That's a pretty handy trick. I like that. Okay, other side. Okay, I'm still having that same problem where it's not really ending up on my original pressed line here. And I wonder if that has to do with the fact that my facing is actually an inch and 3/8 and my hem down here is 1 inch. I bet that's it because maybe I was supposed to take 3/8 inch off of this edge. I finished it with a serging without shaving anything off. So I bet if this was only an inch, then it would match up perfectly. But as it is, I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to press it where it wants to end up and then just gradually taper it back into my 1 inch hem there. So it'll be fine. Nobody will be able to know. So we've gone inside that mitered corner and trim it off. Trying to make the seam allowances inside go up into this facing here so they're all going the same way to make it nice and neat. And let's press Actually, that corner doesn't look bad at all. It looks like it's better than it was. Yeah, I don't know why that made a difference, but maybe just trimming it helped to kind of pull this down more, but that looks really good. That's exciting. I like that corner. That does look really good. Nobody will ever see it, but hey, what a nice touch inside of a garment. Now you know how to do it. Now I know how to do it. So all that's left to do now is to stitch my hem up, and I'm going to use my cover. No, I'm not going to use my cover stitch machine for that. I'm going to use my cover stitch machine for the sleeves. It says to turn them up an inch. So each sleeve I'll turn up an inch. I'll use my cover hem machine for that, and then top stitch this facing down. It says 7/8 of an inch, but since I left my facing kind of wide, I might stitch out a little bit farther. I'll probably do something like an inch, maybe 1.25 inches, just to really pin it down. See how that looks. And then I will try it on. Now the directions say sew a snap. The general directions say it's optional. We'll see what I think. Ta-da! So here is my finished product, and all in all, I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. My biggest question was the neck. Do I need a snap? Maybe. I don't know if it's really going to be one that I would wear without a camisole anyway, and I'm not somebody who likes things to show too low. But I think that if the neck shaping had been shaped more to kind of curve in just slightly, it would have more coverage here rather than kind of scooped out like that. But I really like the way that it looks. I'm glad that I kind of graded out just a tiny bit at the hips. I'm glad that I made it 1 inch longer because I love where it falls. I like this look of the belt going around. A little bit of a hint for top stitching the facing. You see the facing here is interfaced, so it doesn't stretch. However, the garment fabric does stretch, and so when you top stitch it, if you have the garment fabric on top, your presser foot's going to want to push it and kind of stretch it, and you're going to be really frustrated trying to get both layers to end up even. So turn it upside down and have your interfaced portion up towards your presser foot and the stretchy part towards your feed dogs, and your feed dogs will kind of help pull it under, and it'll be much easier to have both of those layers end up even without one pulling. So that's just a little bit of a free tip today. So this top is called the Coimbra, C-O-I-M-B-R-A top from Itch to Stitch. I like the style. I think I would probably make it again, but like I said, that if I wasn't going to wear a camisole under it, I probably would put a snap on it. I don't know if it's going to stay in place as I move about throughout the day, but all in all, there it is. The ties cross in the back. I'll show you how it's put together. I'm not going to take it off. This side has a tie that comes all the way around, but the underside has the tie. Let me show you. It comes out right here. It goes around the back, crosses, and then we can tie it over here. There we go. Easy peasy. Okay, so you already know that if you enjoyed this content, to thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, keep coming back. I didn't put the sign up on my door.
You did put the sign up on your door.
I did?
You did not.
I did not. So, see you next time. And some secret sewing how-to. Stitch's newly released top. I'll see you next time.